Hey you guys, I have kind of a cool video today. As you can see, I'm like opening up my space a little bit so that you guys can see my space. I had a friend ask me the other day, she said, a lot of people want to write a book, but you're actually finishing yours. How did you get it done? You know, you're doing a lot of things. And so I wanted to talk about my rituals. So I read a lot about Ikigai a few years ago. I don't know if you guys are into Ikigai, the Japanese art of small rituals in order to encourage and maintain a sense of well-being. But I read a lot about it a few years ago and got really into it. And when I set out to write my book, I wanted to be an author as well and share knowledge for a long time. And I had waited a couple of years to start mine. And, what I did was I set up these rituals that I do, and then I set up a certain amount of time every day in order to complete that book. Now, for me, I personally have been working as well over the past few years. And in fact, over the past 3 years, I have built marketing ecosystems, demand gen ecosystems, and branded 3 companies. I branded one in 21, 22, and 23, and built demand gen ecosystems around them. So I've been not only working, I've been working pretty hard because I've been in the startup and tech world. So for me, I set aside a couple hours every day to do my writing, and that is how I've gotten it done. It hasn't been this thing where I got a ton of time at any given time to just hammer the whole thing out. I've had to chip away at it over the years, and I think that that's the way that most of us have to do it. Most of us have to support our families and that kind of thing. So I want to talk about what I do to actually get myself in the writing zone. In case any of you are trying to work on something, you're having a hard time focusing. I found that this even works if I am doing a lot of writing for one of my clients, or the company that I am helping come out of stealth or rebrand or launch or create their strategy or whatever it is. So here are my rituals. So there's 6. There's 6 rituals I want to share. My screen's over here, so I'm just going to look at my notes really quick. So the first first tip I want to give, if you guys are needing tips for getting in the writing zone as well, is to get yourself the most comfy chair and comfy desk that you can. And it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It can be on a budget. You can get it from Amazon, whatever. Personally, I got a standard standing desk from Amazon, partially because I am very short. I don't know, for those of you who haven't met me in person, like, I'm very short. I'm not a tall woman. So for me, I put it all the way on the lowest setting, which goes actually lower than most standard desks do. And that really helps if you're writing for a long period of time. You'll find that you'll actually kind of cramp up in the shoulders and stuff if you have to have your arms at the wrong height. So a standing desk, even if you're not using it to stand most of the time, it gives you the ability to adjust that height if you're going to be writing for long periods of time. The other thing, and all of us are working for long periods of time, right? So it's good for everybody, really. The other thing that I invested in for myself is a branch chair. I just got like the daily chair. But yeah, for those of you who have not invested in a nice chair for yourselves, it will change your lives, especially if you're over 40 like I am now. The next thing that I invested in for myself is a smart bulb, and I actually have a ritual with my smart bulb. This may sound silly to you, but it's like whatever has to get you in the zone when you have these big lofty goals, I think is worth it. So I actually turn my smart bulb onto a cooler setting when I'm working, because that gets me more in the zone for it's more like a natural light type setting. It gets me answering emails, kind of hypes me up, keeps me really on the forward leaning in my work. and I actually turn it on to this warm setting when I'm writing. So what I find is when you're writing for sustained periods of time, you want to go inside your brain a little bit more. You want to get lost in your thoughts, especially if you're creating something new. So when I'm in creative mode, I always go into this warm light zone. The next thing that I do is I actually created like a work zone altar. This might also seem silly to some of you, but again, it's whatever gets you in the zone to produce great work, I think is worth it. So you guys might have noticed that my homegirl Taylor Swift is up on the wall. I just think that she's an incredible poet, way before she became what she is today. I believe that our print is from 2013. So I think that she's an incredible creative and poet, and it inspires me, the amount of work that she does, how productive she is, how prolific she is. So I have her up on my wall, and this is an art print from a concert poster artist, and I'll have to give you guys his name, but they're limited. Then I have an altar. I put crystals, I've put scented candles. This is a Ganesh that I got when I was living in India. And I have a painting of Switzerland, which is a mid-century modern painting. So like all of these things make me really happy. And every single time that I go to write, I go ahead and, light my candles, turn my bulb onto the warm setting, and get completely in the zone. The next thing that I do is I have a little bows behind me that I use sometimes for meetings as well. And what I do is put on the no words type of playlist. So I have a favorite one that has like Claire de Lune and some other beautiful classics in there. But you could do acoustic with no words. You could do anything with no words. What I find is if you put on just regular music or your regular playlist, you will start actually thinking about the words and the storyline in the song, and it will distract you from your actual storyline or what you're trying to write. So I always put on a no words playlist. For those of you who are wondering how I'm getting this done or what tools I'm using, it's really simple. I have written my entire book so far. It's about 65,000 words at this point, and it is 100% in Google Docs. That's it. I have written the entire book in Google Docs. I have used the Grammarly extension and on top of my Google Docs to kind of, I have that for all of my work. I think that it's great with the voice settings and all kinds of things for work purposes, but those are the only two tools that I'm using is Google Docs and Grammarly in order to write my book. And then the last tip that I'll give you guys is that I am writing in 2-hour windows. So it's actually 1 to 2 hour windows. So when I finish my work for the day, or when I can find a space of time inside of my day, I actually just set aside 1 to 2 hours, and that is it. And what I find when you are doing book writing is that if you tell yourself you're going to write for an entire day, you'll burn out and you'll get frustrated with yourself. So, some people are under the assumption, I could just take a whole Saturday or whatever it is. You can, but you don't actually get as much done as you might think because your brain does burn out at some point. So I find that, 1 to 2 hour windows are really easy to fit into your schedule if you are working, like a lot of us are, and B, it's easier on your brain, your mental health, and all of that stuff when you have other things going on like full-time jobs and families or contracts or kids or whatever you guys have going on. Okay, hopefully this was helpful to someone out there. And if you have any questions about how I got started on my book, what my publishing plan is, all of that stuff, pitching processes, all of that stuff, I am going through those processes or have been through those processes, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. I think the more of us that can share our knowledge and really talk about our own experience and our own expertise while we are bringing these companies and startups to life, the better. So thanks so much for your time. Bye.